Hi, ladies and gents. Welcome to CEO Meets. My name's Pip Wilkins. I am the Chief Executive at the BFA, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Nigel and Cameron today from Citation. So first and foremost, gents, some introductions. Would you like to introduce yourselves? What's your name and where'd you come from?
Yeah, sure. Cheers, Pip. Hello, everyone. Lovely to kind of be on here having a chat. So my name is Nigel Lee. I'm our National Partnerships Manager at Citation. I've been at Citation 19 years. And I'll hand you over to my colleague, Cameron, to introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. My name's Cameron Boom. I'm Events and Partner Marketing Lead and work with our commercial and affinity partners to provide members with exclusive offers, events, webinars, anything where we can hopefully give you guys successful and develop the partnership.
Fantastic. So the most important question, obviously, is what is Citation? What do you do, guys?
Well, to give you a brief overview of Citation, so we've been operating since 1995, and think of us effectively as a company that provides outsourced health and safety, employment law, ISO certification, kind of compliance. So it's a compliance business for those companies or SMEs that might not want to do it themselves. They will simply come to Citation and say, look, we know we have to comply with all sorts of bits and bobs of legislation. Can you help us do that? So that's what we do. We have about 50,000 clients of all sizes and all sectors, all across the UK. And a couple of years ago, we've recently started branching out into things like fire safety, electrical safety, Legionella testing, etc., etc. So quite a broad church at the moment, Pip.
Well, I can say as somebody that had to do all of that myself previously, it's definitely great to outsource this kind of stuff. So talk to us a bit about, the approach of the franchising sector. It's something, quite new to you guys. Why are you looking at franchising, and what support can you give to both franchisors and franchisees?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, I mean, look, we've all over the last kind of few years, we've noticed that we've kind of had a bit more of an interest in what Citation does from franchises. So, it's tended to stem from the traditional partnership approach that we have has looked at industry sectors. So, I'll name day nurseries as a sector, or domiciliary care, for example, are two sectors that Citation's quite populous in, if you like. And what we found was, almost from a piecemeal perspective, we were picking up relationships with franchises, just doing our general work through our sector partners. And we've had a couple that we've had for a long time. So I'm going to name drop people like Rainbow International, Minster Cleaning, etc., etc., and Banana Moon in the franchise.
Glad you dropped it in all of our members there. That's great.
Yeah, it's all good. And obviously, that was one of the reasons why they were saying to us, look, you guys should go and chat to the BFA. I used Ian at Minster Cleaning who kindly stood as a reference for us to say nice things about us. It was good. And we looked at it and said, okay, well, the natural conversation then is to go to the franchisor and say, look, we're picking up your franchisees who clearly need some help in health and safety or employment law compliance. They might be startups, or they might be acquiring another franchise. So there's a whole host of bits and bobs they have to do to combine those two. And it was just a natural conversation to say, look, what support do you offer franchisees at the moment? Is there some added value that we can have? In the case of some franchises, our services it's built in as part of the franchise. So any franchisee, they don't have to worry about it because it's already there as part of the package that they're building up. But we just looked at it about 6 months ago and said, right, okay, do you know what? Well, I think we've got enough knowledge and credibility in the space to come to BFA and say, look, we'd like to join. We can probably bring some new ideas or benefits to the table. Hence why we had the chat, and thankfully we're here in this position now as members.
We're absolutely delighted to have you on board, guys. So from, I guess, the last 12 months, what have been some of the kind of key challenges you've seen within your sector, and how have you supported different businesses and franchises with those challenges to overcome them?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think the first thing that everyone's just going to kind of refer back to for the last couple of years has obviously been the pandemic. There were really quite seismic changes in employment legislation, particularly obviously with furlough scheme, etc., etc. We kind of helped a lot of our clients in a lot of ways. I think clients that previously might have only engaged with us once every couple of weeks or so, they were using the helpline every day. So our helpline resource was fantastic for clients, because it was, what does that change the furlough mean? Do I need to do anything? So what we were effectively doing for clients was saying, okay, look, there's never been a more pertinent time to tap into the resources that you have access to. We were monitoring changes or briefings daily, and our head of employment law, Gillian McAteer, she was doing press briefings. She was on the BBC Breakfast detailing what it means for the average business owner. And I think as well, what was really pleasing for Cameron and myself as a partnership team was where we had our partnerships in place with trade associations or franchise head offices. We were providing them through Mr. Broom, who you can see here. We were providing them with almost like daily briefings that they could then just fire out to their estate. And what I think it did was, I think it informed the franchisee of things they needed to know about. And I think it saved the franchisor some time, because they weren't getting tons and tons of the same question. So now things that we were seeing now, end of September, end of furlough scheme, we're now moving into more and more questions around vaccinations and HR issues, etc., etc. So again, dom care franchises, they're going to have to kind of take those things into account. But I think, look, there's always going to be questions around compliance, but I think what brought it home was the real kind of individual requirements across each franchise. It was quite similar across the whole franchise estate. So if we could do a webinar for a franchise, for a franchisor, to say, look, in one hit, get 50, 60 franchises on this webinar, we can speak to them for 45 minutes or an hour on how the end of furlough might affect you. And it was a really cost-effective and efficient way of distilling information down to their kind of estate.
And on that note, you guys are doing a Power Hour takeover for us, aren't you, in the next week or so? Talk to me about what you're going to be sharing on that Power Hour takeover. Yeah,
absolutely. So these, a genuine benefit of what Citation really likes to do with partners or trade associations that we're members of. This is information that we're providing to our clients already. So our clients will already be right at the forefront of knowing what they need to do. We're luckily enough, we've got, like I've mentioned before, we've got Gillian McAteer, who's going to be doing it. Jill's our head of employment law. You might have seen her on Sky News last couple of weeks, etc., etc. This is just a great chance for anyone that has people or is looking after people, or anyone who might have queries from their franchises. Jill will be giving us the latest kind of updates on what employment legislation is saying in relation to, it could be things like hybrid working, HR issues around vaccinations and stuff. But what I really like about it is they're really fluid sessions. So there's live chat. I'll be on there as well, monitoring the live chat. We'll be uploading relevant templates or product guides or documentation that's like free guides, fact sheets, FAQ documents. And there's always a built-in little bit of question time at the end as well. So someone can come on, look at a load of stuff to do with HR and employment law issues. And then if they want to, right at the end, they can ask us a question about COVID secure workplaces or ventilation or whatever it is. So think of it as just a bit of time, 45 minutes or an hour, where someone can come on, and at the end of it, they'll go away with half a dozen things that they've upskilled themselves with that they didn't know before jumping on.
Fantastic. I was just looking at the date. So that's Thursday the 18th, guys. If you want to dial in to Power Hour, link will be shared via the BFA LinkedIn channel. I have one final question, which is the question I ask everybody. If you could give a top tip to a potential franchisee, someone that's looking to enter franchising, what would that top tip be?
Whenever I speak to businesses or franchisees who are just about to start taking that first step, I always say, get your legal compliance and your ducks in a row prior to pushing the button. So, you can go ahead and jump into the world of franchising, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to then be distracted by lots of other things that are going on during your day-to-day job. You want to concentrate on growing that franchise, getting another franchise, broadening your church, etc., etc. So my top tip, and timing will be everything on this one, Pip, come and see us at the BFA show.
Yep.
And then get your ducks in line before you push that button, get your people in place, get your compliance issues sorted. So when you do open up to the big wide world, whatever sector your franchise is in, you're one step ahead of the game and you can crack on doing what that franchise should do for you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. It was awesome talking to you today. It's given me a greater insight into what you do, and so everyone watching too. Thank you very much.
No worries at all. Glad to be here.